Okay, guys. So the comp just ended a few hours ago. It's technically the next day. Um, I work tomorrow, so I want to make this quick. But yeah, I just want to get this video up. This is the breakdown video. Um, I got the shortened video up, but I want to get this one up too. So yeah, I did it. It still doesn't feel real. Um, I don't think it ever will. I'm gonna get emotional, but yeah, I did it. I finally did it. Um, this world record is something that I never even talk about very much because I just really I knew it could happen. I wanted it to happen more than anything. Honestly, more than anything, I wanted this to happen. I wouldn't be traveling all over the country, um, practicing hundreds of hours of the last like half decade, um, if I didn't want this super badly. Like people don't even understand just how much I've given, just how much I put into this. Some people do, but oh my god, like it's still just not. It doesn't feel real. I don't think it ever will. But anyway, uh, yeah. So 63 to 66, 60 points flat, and I did it with 10 seconds left. Um, yeah, insane. Anyway, so the competition. This was mine and Steven's second competition in the new warehouse. Like we have a side warehouse at the cubicle now for events. Well, this is my first time as an organizer of one of these. The last one I just went. But this one we had 6 multi blinds. We had all the other PBQ events too. But yeah, 2 best of 3 rounds for multi. So yeah, my goals going into this, I'm coming off a really bad 70 stretch, like with the 70 attempts. My last 2 were in the 40s. The ones before that was like a DNF and another 40, I think. So it was just getting worse and worse. And it tends to happen when you go so like a long time without getting some confidence booster. I got another like 55 out of 70, but still, it wasn't. I really wanted to get something like 60 out of 70 or something. And it just wasn't happening. And I decided that with Worlds coming up, I really should start doing realistic numbers that I can safety, whether it's 4 passing or 5 passing, which I'm trying to practice again. But yeah, I wanted to use this comp for that because I didn't want to throw away 6 attempts on trash 70s. So, other new things, probably the biggest new thing, and it definitely played a role in this, is my new cubes. My worms have been bothering me lately. Um, they've been feeling they always just feel dry. I lose control of them a lot. I think it's the fact that they're not that magnetic. They have really light magnets in it. And I think just over time, I just need something with a little more control. So I decided to go with MGC betas. I don't think they're better in terms of like my exec isn't faster, but I definitely don't make as many mistakes. And they're just more pleasant and I feel safer with them. So I can turn with more confidence. Um, so those are cool. I set them up like 3 weeks ago. They've maybe got so I did 6 attempts with them here. That's probably as many as I've done like in practice since I got them. So yeah, they're working really well. Yeah, so another weird thing with the betas though is the arrangement. Um, if anyone's familiar with magnetic cubes and multi, some of them don't behave well in packs. Like they start to repel each other if there's too many like bunched up together, like you do in multi. So that's a problem I've had to fix by changing like how I arrange my cubes. I don't have them in like packs anymore of like 2 rows of 5. I have them in like straight rows of 10 because in one row they don't do that. It's only when you add like a second row in there, like if I was to take 2 of the 10 rows and push them together, that's when they start acting weird. So in this video you'll see just big lines of 10 and they're all spaced out like by a little bit just so that doesn't happen. But what's nice about it is I never have to move my chair anymore because they're so long, these lines, that once I memorize something, I put them in the back and then I just put more in front of me. I never have to move. So that's one good thing. The biggest con though is sliding them forward, when you're blindfolded, pulling them forward is really scary. I have to apply force to like both the first cube of the line and the last, and pull. And it hasn't happened yet, but it did happen once, but I wasn't being careful. It hasn't happened yet in a real attempt, but you worry that you're gonna lose them. So I'm gonna experiment with other ways to handle this problem, like a different mat. My mat, like a different surface might help. I might be able to use packs again, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. Yeah, so a summary of the results of the whole comp, and then I'll get into how this attempt felt, the world record. Yeah, so the first mean of 3, I started with a 54 pointer. Oh, I went into this with the assumption I was just going to be doing straight 66 attempts the whole time, like 666. 6 attempts at 66 cubes. The first one went well. It was a 60 out of 66, and it could have been better. It definitely, it felt like a 60 out of 66, maybe slightly better, but, and then this attempt felt maybe like a 61 or 62 out of 66. I thought I made more mistakes, so I was a little shocked. You can see from the reaction at the end of the exec that I was shocked. Yeah, there was just 2 quits and 1 guess, and it was wrong. Those are the 3 mistakes. And then the third attempt was... Oh, in the third attempt of the first round, I went up to 67 because the world record was even, so switched odd numbers. And I got 61 out of 67. So, and what's cool about that is I actually also broke the unofficial mean of 3 for multi-blind. For the longest time, the record has been Graham's 56 mean from that one comp where he got like a 58 out of 60, a 59 out of 60, and a 57 out of 60. And so that was 56 flat, and this was 54, 55, and 60, which made it a 56.33 mean. So I didn't expect that. I actually did the math after the 60 pointer and knew I needed 55. So I was like, oh, this could happen, but I really didn't think it would. So that was cool. And I didn't sleep very well after the first round. Well, actually, I didn't sleep well after the world record because that was at 9:30 at night on Friday. And then, I was obviously really excited, and I had a coffee at 6 p.m. and, I had notifications going all night. So I honestly slept 2 hours, because also I realized that because the round stretched into the following day and Graham had 2 attempts that day, technically if Graham broke the world record yesterday, this wouldn't have counted at all. It wouldn't even been on my profile. So I was really stressed out too. So I didn't sleep. I didn't know that this was 100% concrete in the books world record until Graham's comp ended on Saturday night. So I was really stressed all Saturday. But even on 2 hours of sleep, throughout the day, by the way, I didn't sleep at night. I took naps throughout the day. So with 2 hours of napping throughout the comp on day 2, I still managed 50 pointers on both attempts, which was probably even more impressive than what I did on the first day, honestly. Because, what was it? 60 out of 67. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, the 61 out of 67, because that was the following day. That's also why I didn't expect to get the mean, because I had 2 hours of sleep. So it was what? And then the second attempt on the second day was 60 out of 67, I think. And that was the first attempt of the final. And that was my winning result. So those 2 attempts on no sleep, amazing. And then what was the 5th one? Oh, yeah. And then the third day, I decided to go up to 69 cubes because I felt a little more rested. and I kind of wanted to do 70, but should do an odd number, and 71 seems like too much. So 69 seems like a good step, and I got 60 out of 69 on the first one, and I actually sub-1'd it by 2 seconds. So that was awesome because that feels pretty much like a 70 attempt. So it kind of is, it's pretty much a 70 attempt, honestly. I treated it the exact same way, and I got 60. So it's kind of like what I was talking about before, how with my 70 attempts, I really wanted like a 60 something out of 70. I kind of satisfied that goal a little bit in my brain. So, and also fun fact, it was the first time I ever tried 69. But then on the last attempt of the comp, I tried it again, and I kind of just died, honestly. I actually reused the pallets I used on day one, attempt one, and it was a bad idea. But I think I was just dead by then anyway. I quit during exec when I started forgetting a lot, and I knew it wasn't better than my first attempt of the final, so I just was done. Okay, so I'm talking for a while here. How the world record felt. Let's get to that. Okay. I was definitely in the right mindset because I was satisfied already with the first attempt, which was 54 points. And it was, everything just happened at once. Like the betas are feeling really good. I was really happy that I got the good first attempt with them at 54 points. I was doing this attempt at like 8 or 9 at night, and that's like when I do them at home normally. And I'm in the office where I'm comfortable. I'm doing a number that's safe, and 66 is the most likely number for me to get 60 points at the moment. Still probably maybe 68 or 66, but it all just came together. I had slept so well Thursday night into Friday, so and like I said, I had that coffee at 6. It just went really good. It didn't feel amazing, but those are usually the ones that always end up being really amazing. So, like I said, I think it's mentioned earlier, the two of the DNFs were from quits. I just couldn't remember, and I felt pressured on time, which is a good thing because I had 10 seconds left. Technically, I had 14 left with 59. It was 59.46 with the +4, 2 +2s. But yeah, anyway, and I guessed one thing wrong. I knew one piece involved, but I couldn't remember if it was the first or second piece, and I couldn't remember what the other piece was. So I guessed wrong, whatever. Now, this was a weird thing that I forgot about for a bit. Okay, and this is one weird thing about this attempt. There was a cube. I believe it was in the long term. It was in the second pack of the long term. In like the first 5. I don't remember what exact one it was. I remember. I think it was the second cube of that. So I think, anyway, you'll see it in the video if you watch it. I guessed again on something, and I knew it was like most likely not right, but I guessed it, and it was on edges. And then I fixed and then I saw corners like usual. And I swear, as I was putting the cube down, something hit me, and it came back to me. And like the second before I was gonna release it from my hand, it was like the closest thing to like divine intervention I've ever witnessed or felt because of like the fact that it saved this world record. It came back to me, and I took it back, and I fixed it. And I never do that, ever. Like, I had to like first think like, oh, did I have parity on corners? Because I would have to undo the parity alg. I didn't, so I just went straight to fixing the edges, and I saved that. So I haven't had a save like that in a really long time. So that saved the 60 pointer. Another thing is the last pack execution. The execution on attempt was generally bad. Like, until the long term, everything was over like 3 minutes for each 10 pack, which is really bad. That's over 18 per cube. And then I had like average exec for the first 20 of the long term, and then like 10 seconds faster than usual for the last 10. And considering how close I was to the hour, that was, I needed that. So, so that was interesting to see. I was really rushing. And I didn't make any mistakes too. 10 out of 10 for those. But yeah. And then Steven told me 63. Freaked out. Yeah, you can see the rest of the video. It's just, it still doesn't feel real. I don't even know what to say, you know. That's just how special it is. All right, so now that this has been accomplished, let's going to talk about the overall experience of trying to get this fucking thing. Holy shit, it is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, by far. It's just so intense. Like, people kind of understand just how good Graham is. So the dude, like, I don't think there's any event. I mean, I could be wrong. Someone world class another event could correct me, but I don't think there's an event where you have to be this close to your absolute peak to get the record for this. Like when he got 58-point world record, his PB was 58, and when he got like 59, his PB was like 60. Like, he's getting like his absolute peak performance at home in comp. That's like the barrier. That's like the bar he set. It's insane. People don't realize how hard that is. This is my 9th best result ever. I've had 10 60-pointers. The only one that's worse is the my first one, actually, because it was 59-53. This is my 9th best result. I don't know if there's someone can correct me if like you're world class in another event, but is it normal for the record to be like that close to your best solve ever? Because that's what we have to do. That's the bar that Graham set. So that's part of why this has been so difficult. Like, it took me 88 attempts to get this. 88 since coming out of the pandemic. I just counted them before. It's my 88th attempt. That's insane. And it makes sense. It almost got to the point where I didn't want to practice too much at home because I didn't want to waste a 60-pointer. Like, seriously. Man. Anyway, yeah, so I had hopes that I could maybe do it when I started getting really consistent 60-pointers in 2022. But then 2022 came and it was a disaster, you know, just 2 years of not competing. Just not being able to try out, you know, just lack of experience. And there was really nothing I feel like I could have done. You know, I tried streaming. Graham recommended streaming to help with the nerves. Didn't work. And yeah, I just had a mental breakdown. Couldn't do it. Took like 6 months off. And at that point, I feel like probably no one thought this was ever going to happen. I didn't really think it was going to happen. I had a few people that still believed in me, but all the hype kind of died when I just couldn't do it in 2022. I feel like the chances of this happening were like 0, probably. Yeah, like it was so much suffering. Like, probably 95% of this was just pain. You know, driving all over the place, flying, dumping hundreds of dollars on a trip that gets me nowhere. Like, this is the hardest event. I don't care what anyone says. It's not even, people say it's the most impressive event. I don't even think they understand. The act of memorizing and getting good at the event isn't really the hard part. It's the mindset of needing to get that close to your absolute peak ability in comp, where you usually don't get any chances. If you want more chances, you have to spend like hundreds of dollars to fly or drive 10 hours to get like 2 attempts in. And then do that constantly. And the more time goes by, the higher that barrier is going to get, and just the harder it's going to get. It's just, man, I feel bad for the next person. I feel really bad for the next person. Um, but yeah, it sucked, but it definitely made me a better person. I'm definitely toughened me up a lot. Um, I feel better as a person having done this and experienced this, and it's all been worth it. And it's kind of beautiful, honestly. There was 2022 where I couldn't do shit, pretty much just like imploded mentally. And then 2023, I started to make some progress, swallowed my pride, did like 40 cubes, just took baby steps. But then I had problems with like duplicates and like other stupid shit. But at the end of that year, I realized that I should probably change up my style. I started to go slower and do less passes. And by the end of 2023, I started to really get there. I really started to get somewhere, and I got my first 50 pointer. And then 2024 last year was all about 50 pointers. I went from 52, and by December, I just slowly creeped up to 58 points, which is like identical with Graham, pretty much. We were both one cube away. And then 2025, it happens. It's like, it really can't get any, it can't really be a better story than that. So, yeah. It sounds cheesy when people say, it's all about the journey and stuff, but I can't think I kind of get it now. I kind of do. But man, that sucked. So now that this has happened, I'm still gonna practice. I'm still gonna try to beat this. It's still very beatable. And this is an attempt where it's nice to switch to odd numbers to go for an odd number result like 61, but you can also still do even numbers and just try to beat this with time because it's so slow. It's like there's only a 10-second gap where you can get 60 points and not get world record. So yeah, very beatable still. Thank yous. I want to thank the Cubicle. Phil has been so helpful with all of this. He helped me with the purchase of my worms. My first set of cubes, my GTS 2s, were free. He split the worms with me. They've also been, him and James have been very lenient with me taking trips over the last few years, which I'm extremely grateful for. Like, I've taken a lot of days off to travel to do this, and every single trip has been important. So, and they've also helped me financially with some travels at certain times. And now we have this event space. I owe them a lot. My family, of course, are really supportive. And there's so many other people. I can't possibly think of them all. But friends, comp organizers, delegates, other competitors, like close friends, anyone who's helped scramble my 88 attempts leading up to this. You know who you are. I'm really happy that some of these people were here to see it. Like Steven, a coworker, Levi has scrambled so many of my attempts and delegated so many of these comps. Andrew, more recently, has been practicing multi-blind. I see him a lot of these comps. And then Chris and Stanley. Stanley was with me pretty much the entire year of 2023, which was like, next to 2022, a really bad year. So, it meant a lot to have him there too. So, yeah, anyone else, you know who you are. Thank you. Fun stats. This is something I was looking forward to. Another big pressure with this world record is just, it also breaks a lot of other records, me getting this. The most obvious one is longest gap between world records. My last one was when I was 20. No, I was 19, right? In 2010. Yeah. And so 15 years, almost 15 years. The record before this was Jay McNeil with 9 years, I believe. I think he had Scube in like 2013 and then FMC in 2022 or something. So, yeah, I knew that was part of it if I got this. What else? first 2007 ID, actually first 2000s ID since Felix with his 5.53 to get a world record, and I'm possibly the last. I mean, like I could get another world record, but I don't know if unless Felix picks up something. Um, you know, I could potentially be the last 2000s ID to get a world record. Let's see. Um, this is another interesting stat that I don't think many people know. I was the first person with a result in multi-blind in North America. So that's weird. So, and that was 2007, where I got like a 5 out of 8. And so I almost had a 4 out of 4 in AR, but yeah, in 2007 was my first NAR in multi-blind, and it was the first result in North America. And now I have the NAR technically 18 years later. That's weird. That is just dumb. That is a dumb statistic. So this is why these are fun. 18-year gap between ID creation and world record, which is the largest, I think, not including 1982 because of Goose Rezo. I don't know how to say it. Gus. He was in 1982, and when comp started up again, he got FMC world record. So the record's like 26 years because of that. That's probably never gonna get beaten. So mine is 18, and that's second, I think. So here's some fun stats I want to know. So I'm not good with SQL. So if anyone wants to, actually, this one you can't even figure out with the database because it involves age. I want to know if anyone can come up with how many current world record holders weren't born yet when I last got a world record in 2010. So there's definitely a few. Where does 34 years old rank for oldest? I know it's not the oldest. Like Ron got a world record, I think, in his 40s or 50s. And then the guy I just mentioned was older. I think Jet Batten was in his 30s when he got FMC single. So it's definitely not the oldest, but I am curious where I stand with that. And this isn't really a statistic, but I think it's cool that the two events I have world records in are now the shortest event and the longest. Like, if you count FMC, it's technically always the longest, but it's the longest event. So it's kind of cool to go from like just the shortest event 2x2, and my last world record was under a second, to the longest event where I'm using like a full hour. So yeah, I love stats like this. So if anyone can think of any other cool ones involving this record and like just interesting statistics like that, leave them in the comments because I'd like to know more. Yeah, there's probably a lot more I can say, guys, but I just can't. I'm really tired. But yeah, I still can't believe I did this. Yeah. So, I mean, with Worlds coming up, I'm going to practice for that. But honestly, that's not as important as this. This is what I wanted. Nothing else matters anymore. I can stop tomorrow and be fine, but I don't want to. I still like the event. But now that this is over, I feel like I can finally loosen up a little bit and enjoy the event a little more. So I'm looking forward to that. Even if like Graham beats it in like 2 weeks, like I don't give a shit. Mission accomplished. But yeah, all right. Thanks for watching. Stop. Wait, were they the ones I quit? What? Wait, I thought I quit more. I quit those two. Yeah, you quit those two, that's it. Wait. There was one backwards and fixed edges. Yeah, I saw that. I fix it. Yeah. I've never done that. Yeah, Steven and I saw that. And we're like, oh, it was so close.
Yeah, you had like 10 seconds.
46.
Yeah, 15 and 46. What is it? It's 15 points. 2 plus 2s.
All right.
Congrats.
With that, multi-blind attempt 2 is done, and a huge congratulations to Ro Hessler for a new world record multi-blind single of 63 out of 66 cubes in 59 minutes and 50 seconds.